About to do some turning, boys. Okay, so I haven't left this cure for 2 days because yesterday it wasn't hard. I think this epoxy I use is garbage water, but I think we're good to go. So I'm gonna hurry and put it on the lathe, and we'll see what kind of damage we can do. Chucked up. She's wobblier than a mother chicken. I knew this was gonna happen. I didn't fill this up enough. So what I gotta do is machine it down enough that it's round. First off, I'm gonna machine my little lip for my scooper. How I do that is I'll put a groove in it at the right dimension, and then I'll machine this down to whatever the ID of the ring is on the scooper. This is the ice cream scoop that I use. I got this at the wood store. What the hell is it called? Woodcraft. It was on sale for $11.99. I picked up a bunch of them. I made a shitload of these for Christmas for gifts. They work pretty good. So I have this machine to the right size for our collar. Goes right there like that. I made it a little long so I have some leeway. This is normally not the way I do this. I'm just half-assing it. I don't know why. I'm an idiot. I put a recess there to signify how long my handle's gonna be. I machined this step down to match the diameter of that, so that when I glue that in, it doesn't look funky. Here goes nothing. Well, son of a bitch. She broke. So there she is, all sanded. Sure doesn't look like much. Ah, this really pisses me off how that broke. Son of a bitch. So that's the first coat of CA glue. If you can tell, there's a couple cracks that I filled and a couple low spots. I'm just gonna let them dry overnight, and then I'll hit it with some 400 grit to level it all out, and then I'll put like 2 more layers of CA glue, and then I'll polish it. Then when I take it off the lathe, I'll cut this joint, polish the bottom and CA glue it, and then I'll show you how we put the scoop end on. It's pretty easy, but this turned out pretty freaking badass. Look at that. So I'm back. It's actually 2 days later. I didn't have enough time to come out last night. The glue's dry. God, it looks like boogers. So what I'm gonna do is sand it off, and then we'll put another couple layers. I actually need to wait for it to warm up in here. It's only 37 degrees. I don't know if that glue will even dry worth a crap. So we'll see. CA glue is dry. Now what I'm gonna do is go with 1000 grit wet sand, 2000 grit wet sand. Now I got it all sanded up. It looks like crap, but the polish will take it out. There's a couple little crevices. I just really don't have time to sit here and fill those. I'll just clean them out real well. They're sealed. But what I use next is Plastics, that plastic cleaner from Meguiar's that you use on headlights. I found it works really extremely well on CA glue. And the funny thing is that you could almost go from a rough finish to that But since mine had little spots all over it, I had to level it out before I could go right to the polish. So there she is, all polished up. Looks pretty damn good. So remember how the end broke off? I had an aha moment. Just use the hose clamp, clamp the bad part on. I'm gonna drill the hole, and then when I epoxy the end on, I'll epoxy all of it together at once. And I'll just use a tailstock to drill a new hole. No big deal. We're deep enough. So what I'm gonna do to measure that, just hold my thumb, come over to the scoop. Yeah, we're plenty deep. Since I don't have any help with the camera, I lopped that little part off on the top and here on the miter saw, and then I finished it on the disc sander, and then I used a DA. All I gotta do is put some CA glue on the bottom here. I think I actually might put one whole other layer and then polish it one more time, just because I want this end grain to be nice and sealed up so that water doesn't soak into it. But it turned out pretty damn good, I think. Finished the bottom off camera. Sorry, I got a little anxious. Turned out pretty good. And I ground the top. That piece kept falling out. I just said screw it. I'll just have that all just be full of epoxy. So usually what I do is I double check to make sure that these fit. You see how tight that fits around? Before you try to glue it, because I've actually made one that the wood was protruding a little bit and I had a little gap and it just looked like crap. So next thing I'll do is I'll mix up my epoxy. You can use whatever. Polished up, all glued up. That right there is polish. I gotta clean that out with a toothbrush. It looks pretty badass. One thing, if you build one of these, you gotta pay attention to is the way that your scoop is clocked. I mean, it just depends on what you want your feature, what side you want your feature on, back side, front side. Doesn't really matter, but I kinda like every time you pick it up, when you look at it, you'll see that side. Kind of cool. But yeah, there she is. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe, thumbs up. Have a good one.